Gerald worked for 40 years. Same company, same commute, same dedication. He counted down to retirement, imagined the freedom, the travel, the grandchildren, the rest. On his first day of retirement, he sat down and added up everything he owed. $67,000, credit cards, a remaining car loan, medical bills, a small personal loan from 3 years ago. Gerald had spent 40 years working and arrived at retirement, still in debt. He assumed he was the exception. He wasn't. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 things. First, why retirement debt is far more common than most people realize, and the specific types that show up most often. Second, how fixed income changes the debt equation in ways that make retirement debt fundamentally different from working years' debt. Third, what actually works? The specific approach retirees use to address debt on a fixed income, without destroying their quality of life in the process. But here's the warning. The second one contains something that surprises most people, about how fixed income interacts with debt in a way that makes standard debt advice only partially applicable in retirement. Stay with me through all 3. Before I show you the data on retirement debt, I need to explain why Gerald assumed he was unusual, because that assumption is one of the reasons retirement debt stays hidden and unaddressed for so many people. Gerald never talked about his debt, not with his wife fully, not with his children, not with anyone, because debt in retirement felt like personal failure, like he had done something wrong. After 40 years of work, here's what the data actually shows. According to research on American household finances, a significant and growing percentage of households headed by people 65 and older carry consumer debt, credit card balances, auto loans, personal loans. The median debt load for indebted older households has increased substantially over the past 2 decades, and the percentage of retirement income going to debt service has risen significantly. Gerald was not the exception. He was statistically typical. Here are the 4 most common types of debt in retirement. Type 1, credit card debt. The most common, often carried from working years, with minimum payments that stretched the balance across decades. Type 2, auto loans. Many retirees enter retirement mid-loan or take on new auto debt after retiring, often because a vehicle fails unexpectedly. Type 3, medical debt. Healthcare costs in retirement are substantial, and Medicare gaps mean significant out-of-pocket expenses that often go on credit. Type 4, mortgage debt. An increasing number of retirees carry mortgage balances into retirement, either because they bought late or refinanced and extended their loan. Here's the twist that makes retirement debt different. During working years, aggressive debt payoff is straightforward. Cut expenses, increase income, throw everything at the debt. In retirement, income is largely fixed. You cannot significantly increase it in most cases, and cutting expenses has real quality of life consequences. For someone in their 70s, the standard advice to just earn more and spend less applies only partially and requires a different framework. Now the mistakes that bring debt into retirement, because understanding how debt arrives is the first step toward addressing it. Mistake 1. Carrying balances that felt manageable on a working salary. $500 per month in debt payments is very different on a $6,000 monthly salary than on a $2,800 monthly retirement income. The same debt becomes a fundamentally different burden when income drops at retirement. Mistake 2. Using credit to bridge unexpected expenses. Medical emergencies, home repairs, helping adult children. These events happen throughout life. But without an emergency fund, they go on credit. And credit carried into retirement compounds the problem. Mistake 3. Underestimating healthcare costs. As covered in earlier videos in this series, Medicare gaps are substantial, and many retirees fund them with credit, rather than planning for them in advance. Mistake 4. Retirement spending that outpaced income. The early years of retirement often involve significant spending. Travel, home projects, long-deferred purchases, funded partly by credit, with the assumption that income would cover it. It often didn't. Here's the most important twist. None of these mistakes are dramatic. None involve recklessness or irresponsibility. They're ordinary financial events that compound into significant debt over years of working life and arrive at retirement unchanged. Now, what actually works? For addressing debt on a fixed retirement income, because there are retirees who successfully reduce and eliminate debt after retirement begins. Their approach is consistent and learnable. Step 1. Complete visibility. List every debt, balance, interest rate, minimum payment. Gerald had never put all 4 debts on one page. Together, seeing the full picture changed how he thought about the problem, from overwhelming and vague to specific and addressable. Step 2. Prioritize by interest rate, not by size. On a fixed income, minimizing interest is critical. The highest rate debt costs the most. Every month it exists. Addressing it first frees up cash flow faster than the psychological satisfaction of eliminating small balances. Step 3. Find income the balance sheet isn't currently using. Part-time work, consulting, selling assets no longer needed, downsizing a vehicle, reviewing subscription expenses. Gerald found $340 per month that he hadn't previously directed toward debt. That additional payment changed his payoff timeline significantly. Step 4. Avoid new debt completely. This sounds obvious, but medical expenses, car repairs, family needs create pressure toward new debt. Building a small dedicated emergency buffer, even $2,000 to $3,000, specifically for unexpected expenses, prevents the cycle from restarting. Here's the most important twist. Gerald paid off all 4 debts in 28 months, not by dramatically cutting his quality of life, by finding visibility he didn't have and directing small additional amounts with consistency. The debt wasn't too large to address. It was too invisible to address until he looked directly at it. Gerald worked 40 years and retired with $67,000 in debt. He thought he was the exception. He wasn't. And 28 months later, he wasn't in debt either. This video just opened a window for you. You've seen why retirement debt is more common than most people realize, how fixed income changes the equation, and what actually works to address it. What you do with that window is completely yours, because everyone's situation is different. One question before you go. Did you know that a growing percentage of retirees carry consumer debt? Drop it in the comments. Most people find this number surprising. Next week, credit card debt in retirement. The specific crisis most financial content never addresses directly, and the approach that works when the standard advice doesn't apply. Subscribe. Hit the bell. See you next week. Educational content only, not financial advice. Always consult a qualified financial advisor.